Earlier today, I was walking, or I should say wading through streets that are now looking a lot more like rivers and canals here at Sun River. And folks, just take a look behind me. This was once a completely dry field, and now it's looking a lot more like a lake. Just take a look behind me. You can see multiple rescue crews looking for him, all led by Cascade County Sheriff's Office. And we've been out here for the past couple hours, and that search is still underway. Take a look at this. You ready? I've been practicing all morning. Hey, pretty good. The best one I've had. That's right. There's a fun color run this weekend going on. Well, Ken, while many have packed up their cars and are evacuating, first responders are putting their cars in a park. Taylor, Ty, the couple's names are Dennis Sire, who was 66 years old, and Karen Sire, who was 57. But what we don't know as of right now is what exactly happened. Powwows. It's a common celebration among the Native American people. And while it might not mean much to you and I, the beating of drums and chanting of voices plays an important role for the Native American culture. People here in Augusta are ready to start cleaning up from this year's devastating floods. But they tell me that the sandbags are here to stay.
I'm going to leave those sandbags for at least a couple weeks.
With warmer temperatures on the way, the community of Augusta says they're still waiting to see if they'll get more flooding from mountain runoff. After last year's flood season, they've learned it's better to be safe rather than sorry.
I'm fearful it's going to happen again. I definitely don't want to go through what we did last year with getting sandbags out too late.
There is some thought that there might be another one, just because we're not done, snow's not melted, we're expecting more rain, so we're braced for that.
But despite the fears of another flood, the community is starting to move forward with cleanup preparations, a big task many don't want to face.
A lot of hard work, yep, a lot of manual muscle work.
However, many aren't sure what to think. This is the first time anyone in the community has ever seen flooding of this magnitude.
Yeah, it's never happened. My dad, Walter Lame, who's lived here all of his life, he is 82, and he's never seen it.
Never anticipating there would be two 50-year floods in, consecutive years. So that was unexpected, but don't do the same thing twice, learn from it.
And while the community is doing all they can to rebuild, the task ahead of them is a little out of reach.
It's a very big job for the town of 300 people. We're definitely going to have to call in, I think, the bigwigs to be able to do it.
But the good news is the county and state are already ready to go.
Maybe picking up sandbags or mucking out their basements and things like that to basically just coordinate helping those residents that need help cleaning up their property.
To the credit of the state, they guarantee us that it will be fixed within 2 weeks.
In the meantime, the community will continue to take care of one another, because at the end of the day, that's what Augusta is all about.
We'll all still come together and help each other out.
One of the best ways you can help is by volunteering. Augusta will be hosting cleanup days June 6th and 8th, or you can donate monetary donations to the Augusta Chamber of Commerce. Right now, everything is just a wait game as community members here in Augusta wait to see what Mother Nature has in store. 175 homes in the Black Eagle community have been contaminated by those higher levels of arsenic and lead. And while the levels aren't considered deadly, the EPA solution is to simply start digging. Arsenic is known to cause cancer as well as skin and nerve damage in humans, while lead is known to affect several organs in the body. During last night's meeting, roughly 50 to 60 community members attended, saying they were in support of the cleanup process. Some have even been asking for this to happen for years.
Yes, I would be very interested, and if they could replace a lot of the soil and stuff, that would be really great. I was tested a few years ago, and it came out as being the high levels.
Some areas across Black Eagle exceeded the recommended concentration by 500 milligrams. For some in the community, this is something that needs to be done not only for the safety of people right now, but for future generations as well.
For one, it'll help families of the future generations, keeping the area clean, more beautification, property values.
Others are a little on the fence about the situation, saying it all depends on how things are done.
I'm absolutely for it because that lead is coming from somewhere. If they aren't letting the community choose or vote, or somebody making that choice to give someone permission to come on their property, I'm definitely against that.
And while several community members here in Black Eagle are on board with what the EPA wants to do, others say, well, it's just dirt.
I'm against it.
Why is that?
Because we've lived this long with it. There's no deformities, nothing's happening in the community for it. I think it's just another way to job security for the city.
According to the EPA, they won't force anyone to go through the cleanup process. However, they will try their best to convince them otherwise. Not only would the cleanup process provide healthier soil, but a few other things as well.
As last year, they had a public meeting in regards to some of the projects that they want to put at the site. ranging from golf course to biking trails to a possible amphitheater.
All in all, the project would cost just over $2 million to replace the contaminated dirt and dispose of it through the proper channels. From here, the plan is for the EPA to start that multi-million-dollar project in 2020, and it's expected to take about 2 years to complete.
The corruption of CPS. It is absolutely horrible.
People at today's protest were protesting against Child Protective Services, all speaking out with one message in mind.
As Montana citizens and United States citizens, we are here today to redress our grievances with the Montana state government, who has allowed CPS, a nonprofit organization, to freely infringe upon our civil rights and liberties daily.
Many of the people I spoke with tell me CPS was not only wronging them, but more importantly, their children.
If your kids are in it for a minute or years, the damage is already done. When you get that kid back, you need to take them to counseling, and you need counseling yourself to how to deal with the new child that you got back, because you're not going to get the child back. It may look like the one you gave them, but it's not going to be the same kid.
Some protesters have even gone as far as to say CPS taking their children is a crime in itself.
They're illegally removing children with no court orders, no evidence.
They are kidnapping children on a daily basis to meet their quotas for their federal funding.
But just like anything else, there are always two sides to every story. Now, I did reach out to DPHHS, and while they wouldn't go on camera, they did send us this statement, saying this claim is false. We make every effort to keep children safe within their home. CFSD provides in-home safety services to prevent placement of children into foster care, out-of-home safety services, and reunification services that include working with the parents to identify those services needed to reunite the parents and child safely. They went on to also say that reunification is their primary goal, making every effort to keep children safe within their home. However, a child's safety must be our top priority. To this end, CFSD provides in-home services to preserve, strengthen, and stabilize families. But despite the values of Child Protective Services, some in the community feel the system is flawed.
This is what the movement is about. We want parents to know their rights and know how to exercise their rights.
You can't do this. It's got to stop.
For people to come together from all over.
Powwows are a way for anyone and everyone to gather together in a celebration of community. Today's powwow has attracted thousands of people from across the nation in different tribes. And while many will be watching in amazement, those who are in the dance have something else on their minds.
It's about being in the circle and having that pride.
While many powwows might look the same, let me assure you each one is unique in its own way. Every drum is different, and every song has its own history.
Then he asked me, well, the singing, we've been to a few of the Indian powwows. We heard the chants and they all sound the same. But they're not the same. You gotta have Indian ears to tell the difference.
And for many, the difference isn't just in the songs. The art of the powwows as a whole is starting to see a dramatic change.
But now, at the powwows, you're seeing it slowly go back. You're hearing the old style jingle, the old style fancy.
While the culture of powwows is starting to bring back traditions of the old world, other aspects of the celebration are changing, and it's something the community is divided on.
As younger people advance, you know, and want to see change and bringing in modern things and those type of things that they get worried that they're going to be left out or they're going to get, you know, something's going to happen, and so they rather than support it, they'll fight it.
But in the end, anything you'll ever need to know about powwows boils down to one simple school of thought.
Anything can happen in powwow. You can see it turn, you know, you can see evolution of singing.
We live in Montana, and it's hard enough predicting the weather tomorrow, much less wildfires. But when it comes to these predictions, there's a lot more that goes into it. The conversation started after my wife and I moved into a house here in Great Falls. A buddy of mine who works at the fire station was with me, and I was showing him around the backyard, and I said, this is where I want to put the fire pit. As you know, I went back to my hometown of Spokane this past weekend to visit some friends and family, and I can tell you firsthand that Yeah, I was a little thrown off by the gas prices myself. Just a foot in the door for a future slaughterhouse. Many have even posted to Great Falls Area Concerned Citizens Facebook page, with one person even saying, "Today cheese, tomorrow the cows." And speaking of weather, it's a bit cloudy today, but temperatures seem to be climbing as we begin our Memorial Day weekend. Our very own Mary Jane Belieza has a quick first check of your forecast. Several agencies responded to a fully engulfed garage fire in Sun River earlier this afternoon. Our Forrest Allreed was first on the scene and has the latest information. If you want to drink wine properly, it's not holding it in the glass and just, oh, this is perfect wine. No, you have to hold it by the stem. In fact, that's what the stem is for.
I like the little British accent.
Yeah, the British. I had to throw that in there. I don't know why. I just imagine British people drinking wine.